Welcome to another episode of the Caregiver and Spoonie podcast. I'm your host, Jordan Banderas. And before we get started, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any episodes of the podcast. And let's go ahead and get into today's episode, shall we? Now, on today's episode, I have another question. This is something that somebody asked me a long time ago. This is pretty much when I was in therapy. And somebody asked me, oh, sorry, I lost it. Should we negotiate with our mind? And the answer is yes. We need to negotiate with our mind at first until we can actually control it or tame it. And I want to tell you why this is extremely important. I have mentioned it a little bit in other episodes, but this is extremely important, and I want to tell you why. And you need to ask yourself this question too. Should I negotiate with my mind, with whatever negative thoughts I am having right now, and here's the thing, you have to, it's a must pretty much, because it lets you determine if you're in control of your mind or not. If you determine that you're not in control and you just let your thoughts run wild and tell you that you're not worthy of something, or you just have all these negative thoughts and you cannot stop them, then this is when you actually have to learn how to negotiate with your mind, to pretty much be like, and the way that I say negotiate, it's more like, how come I'm having these thoughts? At least for me, like, how come I'm having these thoughts? Because there's so many ways to be able to do that. Sometimes you just stand up and say like, no, that's bullshit, that's not me, F you, fuck you. And that's pretty much what a lot of people say. I tried that, it didn't work for me. For me, it worked more like I questioning myself, like, why, how come I'm having this type of thoughts? What is this saying about me, things like that. Because once you're able to determine and find the right approach to control your mind, then the negative thoughts, whatever's going on in your mind, whatever keeps replaying over and over again, you might be able to stop it. You might be able to say like, enough is enough. What happened in the past, what I did in the past, it happened. Now it's time to move forward. And that's something that we all need to do at one point, move forward. Now, it also, in case that you're not able to identify negative thoughts right away, when you negotiate or you stand up to your mind, you can actually identify the negative thoughts. You can actually say, if you pay attention, this is how I did it. I had to pay attention to everything that was going on in my mind, everything that I was saying to myself, everything, literally everything. And once I realized that, oh my gosh, I never realized that I was that negative about myself. And my wife brought something up the other day that when I'm doing the episodes, I kind of like give you the information, but then I backtrack, like if I'm not like 100% sure, even though I did the research and the research is right, but I just don't have the confidence, or I didn't have the confidence. And because she brought that up, I was like, you know what? That is so true. So I was able to stand up to that. Like, and this is not something that you're going to master right away or ever, because there are things that are going to happen in your life. You're a spoonie, you're a caregiver, you're going to be under a lot of stress. Your spoonie might have to do other things, like he or she might have other health issues, like there's a lot of things that might have arise from being a spoonie. And when you're a caregiver, you might be under a lot of stress. You have to go to work, you have to take care of the house, so you just have to understand what's going on as well. And one of the things that this is very important to stand up to your mind or to negotiate is that it kind of lets you stand up to your biggest bully. And your biggest bully is yourself. Because no matter what anybody else says about you, as long as you're allowing it to make you feel a certain way, then you're allowing the abuse. And obviously, if you're a kid, or if you're abused as a kid like myself, or sometimes what happens in abusive relationships, like the abuser is always gonna tell you it's gonna repeat the abuse over and over and over again, that you're just gonna start feeling like it's because of you, something like that. That's pretty much what it shows, the psychology of it. Like, you become, it literally breaks you. It breaks your mind. It makes you doubt yourself. So that's pretty much what it is. And so when you stand up to your biggest bully, you start saying to yourself, like, I'm not going to allow this. And one of the things that has happened, at least to me, is that since I started doing that, I don't let people push me around anymore. Like, they try to push me around at work or anything like that, and I fight back, or I talk back. Not in a bad way, but I just, stand up for myself. I'm like, I'm not gonna let you do that to me, because that's not right. And when you start literally standing up for yourself, to yourself, you might do that towards other people. Like, if somebody says something that offended you, you can be like, you know what, that's offensive. And I'm not gonna tolerate that. And the other person might say that, oh, you're overreacting. No. That's how I'm taking it. That's how I'm feeling about what you just said, what you just did. So it's up to you. You don't want to change your attitude. You don't want to change the way that you act towards me, or you don't want to change what you did to me. Then, you know what? Goodbye. Like somebody wise say, bye, Felicia. So and that's something like I said, like, that's something that I've been doing, because I've been able to stand up to my own mind. Like, I've been able to negotiate. Like, you know what, like, instead of saying those things to me, like, instead of saying like I'm worthless, or I'm this, I'm that, and that, nobody's gonna love me, I'd rather say, let's figure out where that's coming from. Who said that to me, or who made me feel that a certain way, And once I work together with my mind to figure out why I'm saying those things, why I'm thinking that way, then I realize, you know what? The person who did that, it could be my family, it could be friends, it could be whatever, they were projecting. Because I analyze, at least in my case, I analyze the situation that happened at that moment, and then I was like, you know what? I shouldn't have taken it that way, because if I pay attention to their story, whatever they were saying, they were projecting something. And that's what has helped me. I mean, that this can help you as well. It's something that you can try, something that you don't have to try if you don't want to. But at the same time, it's like, you know what? Might as well just try it and see if it helps you. Because once you negotiate and win the negotiations, you can take control of your mind, and that will help you feel a lot better about yourself. Because like I mentioned, like, you stand up to your biggest bully. You literally say to yourself, like, I'm not gonna take any abuse, not even from me. You say to yourself, like, this is gonna end right now. The buck stops with me, literally. That's pretty much what you have to say to yourself. Like this stops right now. And the reason why it's so important as well is because if you yourself, with your negative thoughts, if you have negative thoughts, or the way that you talk to yourself, if you're like me, you talk yourself down, then you're gonna let others talk you down and abuse you. And this is not about like what happened in the past. It's what you can do right now, so you can have a better future. So don't think about it this way, where you're like, oh, but this happened when I was a child, so as an adult, I don't know what to do. Well, I'm telling you, one of the things that you can do, you have to stand up to yourself, for yourself. And once you do that, even if you have a family like mine that is like very not abusive, but the way that we talk to each other is more like, like, I grab the knife, I stab you with it, and then I make fun of you, and I keep digging the knife. I don't know how to explain it in better terms. Like that kind of like dry, abusive humor with double entendres and things like that. So it's like it kind of makes you feel bad about yourself. So if you have a family like that, you can just stand up and say, like, you know what? I'm not gonna take your shit, and you can say either something back, not to offend them or anything like that, but just to defend yourself. Or you can just be like, you know what, I'm not gonna take your shit, you better stop that. And people might not like it. And that's another thing, is that when you start doing that, when you take control of your mind and you start literally taking control of your environment, of who tries to abuse you or who tries to make you feel bad about yourself, they're not gonna like it. They're gonna tell you like, oh, you're overreacting, and it's not about them at that point, it's about how you feel. That's why it's very important to know how you feel inside, because if you're always telling yourself, if you're always talking yourself down like, oh, I'm this, I'm that, nobody's going to do this, everybody thinks this about me, then it's gonna show in the outside, and then somebody's gonna actually make you or say something that either is gonna make you mad, and then it's gonna cause problems because you might want to fight them, kind of like the way that I used to be, or it's gonna make you sad, and then you're gonna feel sad about yourself, and obviously that can lead to depression, and depression can lead to other things, like more health issues, and obviously we don't want that. That's the thing. That's why I wanna talk about this, because it is extremely important to know that you have to stand up. If you're gonna stand up to somebody, stand up to yourself. If you're talking yourself negative about yourself, then you can start standing up to others, like the outside. But first, it's on the inside. It's all about the inside at first. So keep that in mind. That's what I wanted to talk about today. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your feedback. Thank you for everything that you're doing to spread the word about the podcast and about the community. And don't forget to share, like, and subscribe. The more you share it, the more you invite your friends, the more we can grow. And like I said, this is not about followers, this is not about numbers, this is for the people. And because I know what it's like to feel alone, especially when you're a caregiver and a spoonie. So I know what a lot of you might be going through right now. I have an idea, because I've been through it. And don't worry about that, that's my dog. So I've been through it. I still feel it. So I want you to understand that you're not alone. That's why I'm doing this, because I want to provide my story. And guess what? Something big is coming. Something very, very big is coming. There's going to be some good changes in the podcast. So I'm really excited about that. It's going to be probably in a few weeks or a few months. You will know. And again, don't forget to share, like, and subscribe. And don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. And don't forget to pass the word about the podcast as well, especially if it's getting better. And especially if you want something, if you have any feedback, don't forget to send it to me or send me a message. And if you want to share your story, you can send it to me at thecaregiverandspoony@gmail.com, or you can just post it on the community as well. So, as always, I'll leave you like always. Always take care of yourself and have a great day.